Hi, everyone. Welcome to Psychic Connection, collaboration over competition. And yes, I look a little different today, bad hair day today, but it's a good segue. And we'll talk to Bernadette, Tea and Tarot. I also did a tea and tarot at New Earth Community Connection, and that's where I met Bernadette McLaughlin. Did I say your name right?
You said it perfect.
Beautifully. So, welcome, Bernadette. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show. And yes, we met there, New Earth Community Connection,
Mhm.
doing a tea, tarot, and also medium. I think I did a
Right.
medium reading.
Yes, you did
For,
2 readings for me.
yeah,
They were
yeah.
fabulous.
Thank you for Bernadette. But Bernadette has amazing abilities, quite different than mine. So she tells me she is a shamanic. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, it's a shamanic healing and
Shamanic.
energy
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please explain what that actually is.
Okay. I went to school for 2 years with the Four Winds, which is one of the shamanic teachers and teaching,
Yes.
and the schools to. And it's mostly, he calls it from the Americas, because shamans are from, they're like the medicine men,
Medicine
in the,
man.
in
Yeah,
the
I
Native
can think of that.
American,
Yes.
medicine men. And around the world, they're shamans, but they're the same thing. They're healers. They're, they're like between, the worlds, and, they have their guides and everything. So I took a 2 year course with the Four Winds and became a
2 years.
shamanic. Yeah, 2 years.
Long
Uh,
time.
it was great, and I went to Peru because most of the shamans I met were the shamans from Peru. So I've
Right.
been to Peru twice.
Wow.
Yes, I went to the jungle with Alberto, who's the who ran the school,
Mhm.
and I went to the jungle with another person and a shaman. So, and I'm into to actually Machu Picchu and everything. It was quite a journey. It was quite a journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you were actually in a jungle?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great. It was great. And
Wow,
the
with a
shamans
whole
were there.
family?
Alberta was there.
Oh,
It was the whole, the whole medicine and everything. It was great. It was great. It was good. Yeah.
wow, I can't imagine. So how long were you in a jungle?
Oh, we were only there for I believe 5 days. And then
5
we
days?
went
Wow.
back to Cusco and did some, touring and stuff. So that was really great. Peru is a beautiful country, and their shamans are wonderful. It's very interesting. I don't call myself a shaman because the shamans, they're born into their lineage, and they're up
Okay.
in the mountains. They're shamans. I do shamanic work. I mean,
Right.
I'm a practitioner, uh, and I can do some of the things that they do, and they do. I do ceremony. I love doing doing the ceremonies. I love doing the healings. So, like, if you came to me for a session, a
Right.
shamanic session,
Yeah, what would
you would sit down. We would have a conversation, and then I would put you on the table, and I would do what they call an illumination, which is I illuminate your chakras. I find any entities or anything that needs cord cutting that needs to be done, and
right?
before I do anything, I open my sacred space so that the
Mhm.
guides are there with me
Right.
to help me through the healing, and then I will take a journey on your behalf.
So
And
you
now
take
the journey,
right.
um, you would be quiet. I would take my rattle and I would journey. And in the journey, I don't know what's going to happen. It
No.
could be anything from bringing you back a message, bringing you back an animal, whatever comes into the journey comes to you. It could be a soul retrieval. Now, a soul
Okay.
retrieval, it can happen. It can be this lifetime or a past lifetime. It doesn't
Would you know the
necessarily.
difference? Would you know if it was a past life?
Sometimes I know, sometimes they don't tell me. But
Right.
you couldn't come to me and say I need a soul retrieval because I don't know when I journey what's going to happen.
Right. No,
There may not be. There's times
right.
when I journey and the soul part won't come back because they say they're not ready for me, because they want you to. The soul part wants you to be ready to take care of them too. It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful when you bring back the soul part. You bring back an animal and you bring back a gift, and you work with the client through those three, and you work with them so that they get some more messages. If something comes up as another message, it could be a divination. It could be a 3-card story that they have to read their own story, which I use tarot cards. When I use the tarot cards, it's not the cards.
It's not like my cards.
It's the pictures. You read the pictures. You don't read the cards, because we're not tarot card readers.
No.
So it's really, it is a beautiful session. Some people want to just do, sometimes I'm also a Reiki master, so I also offer illumination and Reiki. Some people don't want to go and have the journey. They don't want to, they just want to relax and have healing. I can do that too.
Well, you could do the combination of Reiki and taking this journey.
No, right? I wouldn't do the journey unless you wanted it.
But say I come to you and say, oh, please, can you do Reiki and take me on a journey? Like I would go on the journey as well?
No, I don't take you on a journey. No.
You go for me.
Yeah.
Like you go for me and then you let me know what happened on the journey.
Right. Yeah, and usually if you're doing the journey, you're doing the shamanic work. You're not going to be doing, I don't do Reiki and shamanic work in that particular instance. You do all the shamanic work. I could probably give you a little Reiki. Reiki comes through anyway, because when you're a Reiki master and you're working with people, it comes through anyway. But it's, yeah, it's really beautiful work. And then I do ceremony. And the ceremonies I do a despacho. Now a despacho is, it's a prayer bundle, and everything that goes into that despacho, there's a meaning behind. It has sugar for sweetness of life. It has animals to honor the animal kingdom. It has everything that's in there. It's so beautiful when you work with it. And then they put their kintus. Now in Peru, they can use cocoa. They could use cocoa leaves, but here you can't do that because you'd be arrested. So we use bay leaves. Cocoa is a cocaine. So
I'm just thinking it's like chocolate. I don't know. I'm thinking it's chocolate.
Yeah, no, it's actually leaves. So I use bay leaves. So they take 3 bay leaves and they blow their prayers into it, and they place it in the despacho. Then we take flowers, because I bring flowers, and we put flowers all over it for healing. So your prayers go in it. Every one of them is so beautiful. Everybody that people love the despachos. I do them about 4 times a year at the community connections. And then we take them, you can either put them in the fire or you can put them in the water. Right. So then if I'm bringing it in the water, everything is biodegradable because we send it out to the ocean. I don't want anything to hurt the ocean. No. So that's it. And then I do a fire ceremony. If I can find a space and people want to do it, we'll do a fire ceremony. But if we can't, we use a candle and a toothpick, and we blow into the toothpick what we want to let go of or what we want to bring in. So we can do a fire ceremony that way. And I do water ceremonies too, with dissolvable paper and some beautiful flowers. I love doing ceremony. It's just something that really makes me happy. Yeah.
But ceremony, like the participants, they come to release things, or
in the prayer bundle, in the despacho, usually it's about bringing their prayers in. What do they want?
Not releasing. They want to get what they want.
Prayers. Any prayers.
So that they offer their prayers. You know, please, I'm praying for good health for myself. Yeah, I might say.
And I'm a minister, because when we did our Reiki Masters training, my Reiki Master wanted us to be ministers because it's a good thing. And so I married a couple, and they did their own despacho. I handed them the items, they put them in, and what they were for and everything, and they did their own despacho. And then they went at night, they burned it. It's beautiful.
So you can do that.
Ceremony is beautiful.
Weddings, yeah. And you can do, like you said, in honor of someone who has passed away, ceremony, to honor that as well. But let me ask you too, now you didn't always do this all your life. I mean, you had a profession before this. What was your profession before?
I was in the corporate world. I was a project manager. For 25 years. And I mean, I worked my way up to a project manager. I worked in
Right,
one
right,
company for 25 years, worked for other companies before that. And I
right.
retired around in my late 50s.
Okay,
And I actually lived in New York City at the time. Um,
okay.
and there was always, there was a new school and everything. And my Reiki master,
Mhm,
who taught there, she wanted to teach. That's why I decided I took a slot. I think it was like a 1 day Reiki thing just
mhm.
to see what it was like, and I
Let me see what
decided
it's
to
like.
become a Reiki master.
Mhm,
But she was very into it. It took us a year to get our Reiki masters. So in that year, we met like once a month, and
mhm.
she would show us other things that we could get into besides that. And
Oh,
she
okay,
introduced us to shamanism. So
right.
I decided to look through that. I looked at Michael Hanna's program,
Mhm,
and I actually know one of his teachers very well. And
mhm.
then I took a weekend course with the Four Winds to see if I would like that. And the Four Winds it was what I wanted. It seemed to be for me because he has so much to offer in that
Okay,
particular course. I mean, I
right.
traveled to Utah. I traveled a lot of places to do a lot of, because they were like week-long courses for the 2 years.
Wow, so something really drew you though to shamanic in
Yes.
particular.
It's
Something just
very,
did.
it's very earthy. It's about the earth. I mean, they really believe, as they would say in the Four Winds, we weren't thrown out of the garden. We're stewards of the garden, and
Oh,
they are really caring for the earth.
for
When
the
you go to
earth.
Peru and you go up to the mountains with them, even in the jungle, they're very caring about the earth, and
That's it.
that's really that really means something to me because
Mhm.
I love Mother Nature. I love Mother Earth,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
use her
Nature's
pretty
very
bad.
calm. Yeah, for a lot of
Yeah.
people, people are, sometimes when they take a walk in nature, it just kind of relaxes
Uh,
them. They feel connected. The stress kind of melts away, right?
yeah,
But
that's why I moved to the ocean because I'm
okay.
a Jersey girl from the beginning. I lived in New York City when I met
Yay!
my husband, so I've always gone to the Jersey Shore.
Sure.
But yeah, and the ocean is and the mountains. I love the mountains.
Me too. I love the mountains. I seem very drawn to the mountains. I don't know why, but yeah. It is nice.
Arizona. I love the desert. I mean, that's
Did you go to Sedona? Have you gone to
oh,
Sedona?
I've been to Sedona a couple of times. Yes.
I want to go. Can you just tell us a little about Sedona and your
It's
experience?
so funny. I went to Sedona. Well, probably the first time was with. Wait a minute. It probably wasn't with my husband. When I worked in the corporate world, we had a distribution center and in
Oh,
Phoenix.
in Phoenix.
So I used to have to go to travel to Phoenix. So I became very friendly with one of the women. So we would go to Sedona, and
Sedona.
Sedona's beautiful. It's become very commercial,
Oh, has it?
but it's still
It's still
it's like when you're driving from. I'll always remember this when I'm driving from Phoenix up to Sedona,
beautiful.
and you're driving, and all of a sudden you see the red rocks. Oh
Mhm.
my God, it's just so beautiful. I mean, the desert is beautiful. It's like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon is the pictures don't do any justice. You
Okay.
have to stand
You have
over
to see
the
it.
canyon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the way that's Sedona's very special. And there's a lot of little towns there that are really nice to visit. But yeah, it's got all the shops, all the everything. And then
Right.
if you drive out to the red country, you'll
Mhm.
see that Native Americans are selling their wares out there, which I like to give to
Oh.
them. And you're like
Oh.
traveling because I don't think I can't remember. It's
Okay.
not that far from Sedona to the Grand Canyon. You can do it in a day.
In a day.
Have to stay at the Grand Canyon. And
Right.
then on the road, they sell their wares. They have like little
Oh,
shops, not shops, but they're open out their
yeah.
things.
So have
Yeah.
you purchased little trinkets or anything catch
Oh
your eye?
yeah, I did. I have. Wait a minute. I'll show
Okay.
you.
Oh yeah, show us. For those people on YouTube, we can see it. For the podcast, sorry, we'll just have to.
This is one of the because I'm
Is that
eagle
an
is
eagle? Yeah,
yeah.
like an
Isn't that
eagle.
beautiful?
Oh,
I mean, I've
that is,
purchased quite a few things there.
it's a
Even in my
beautiful
house, I have a
picture.
lot of
Mhm.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
Native American Peru. I have a lot of Peruvian stuff because
Mhm.
when I went to Peru, I brought back all their cloths are just spectacular, and
Mhm.
meeting the people and everything. So yeah, I like the desert, and I'm probably going to go back to Peru one day. But my nephew is married. In fact, I married to a Peruvian.
Oh, you married them. How
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. It's a beautiful country. You know, if you've never been to Santa Fe or Taos, that's another part. That's New Mexico.
Oh, so New Mexico would be another place, a good place to visit.
Yeah, especially Taos, and Santa Fe is a little commercial.
A little
It's
commercial.
gotten a little commercial, but it's beautiful. It's all art. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds beautiful.
yeah,
Wow. So speaking of beautiful, you created beautiful self-discovery programs, right? Can
yeah.
you explain them? Explain them to us.
Well, what I've done is interesting is when I don't know if you know of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
No, sorry.
It's a 12-week program that she wrote. It's a book. It's a great book. I mean, lots of
Yeah.
people have used it.
Use it.
In fact, I went to Taos to spend a week with her and a
Mhm.
few other people there.
Right.
So what I did is I called it the art of living. And the
Mm,
basis is the artist's way, but every time you meet me, I add something else to it so
right.
that you have to do other things. And sometimes when we would meet,
Mm.
I would do a ceremony or whatever I decided else to do within that. And it's a 12-week program. It's really beautiful. I've never had anybody take that program that didn't have some sort of a switch into their life, to brought something into their life.
Into
You
their life.
have to, the one thing she wants you to do is she wants you to write morning pages. So, and I've been writing morning pages for, I'd say, probably 30 years now, or maybe, yeah.
Let me ask you something. You've been writing morning pages. Have you ever thought about turning that into a book or some of it
If
into
I
a
could
book?
read my writing.
Oh, well, I have that same issue. I have chicken scratch. That's why I type everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
She
but
doesn't want you to type. She
have you
wants you to
thought about
move the
that?
movement.
Yeah. But have you thought about maybe, compiling some of it at least and putting it into a book and sharing it with others?
Well, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to think about that.
I think you should think about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I ask people, and I don't. Some people do it every morning. Some people do it once a week, whatever.
Right.
It's to get your day started. And she wants you to do 3 pages of it. Just write whatever's on your mind. I don't do 3 pages. I do like a page and a half, or a page, or 2 pages.
So can you share a little bit of like what comes through? Is it just thoughts or ideas or kind of guiding you of what to do for the day or like you
You
know
know what comes up for me? It's like if I wake up in the morning and I'm not in the greatest mood,
mood, right?
especially now in these days,
In these
everybody's
days,
kind of
right?
like it's, especially with the weather, sometimes it's so cold. If I get
Exactly.
up and I do it while I have my breakfast, because I have to have breakfast early in the morning. I have to have it
Okay.
as soon as I
Mhm.
get up.
Right.
So I'll be starting off and I'll be right. First, I write some gratitude because I
Oh,
want to be in
gratitude,
gratitude. This is
definitely.
the way I do it. And
Yes.
then after that, I start to write, well, the day is this. And all of a sudden, by maybe I don't know, half through the pages, I'm thinking of, well, maybe I can do this today. Maybe I can discover that. Or maybe I should talk to this person.
Mhm.
It's like you get it out on the page and it starts to move. This is my mood right now, but as my mood continues to work,
Right.
I'm usually very good after my morning pages.
Okay, so it puts you in a better mood, a better frame
it,
of
for
mind.
me, or
Yeah,
just
yes,
get it out on the page, like
right.
if you have a day and you're starting work and you're something happened the day before, put it on the page, because then you'll walk into work feeling, at least I let some of it go, but now I know how to deal with it.
So now you're letting some of it go, and then you might get some insight onto how to
Right,
do it.
insight as to what needs to be done.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think, though, you're somehow connecting to something that allows you to kind of flow with the words?
Connecting in a sense of,
Connecting, I don't know, somehow like connecting to some guidance from above, or do you think it truly comes all from, your inner being out? What do you
well,
think?
I think that I think that it's guidance,
Yeah.
it comes through, it's
Right.
something that works within me, but it just doesn't happen. In my house, I open up sacred space in every room
Right.
so that I can, I want and I refresh
Mhm.
them once a week
Right.
because it's really good to keep them here, to have them
Right.
here with me.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really something that I feel very strong about.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a way of living for me,
For
you
you.
know,
It
and
works well for
I like I say to people when I open up sacred space,
you. Mhm.
you open up sacred space the way you do it. I do it the shamanic, the way I was taught at the Four
Well, right.
Winds, because that,
Yeah.
at each direction there's an animal, and
Right.
the serpents in the south, and the jaguars in the west, and
Yeah.
the hummingbirds in the north, and no, yeah, the hummingbird is in the north,
Mhm.
and the eagle and the condor is on the east. So
Oh,
they bring, and we talk with them, and then we talk to, Mother Earth, and then we talk to the Father Sky, and, we bring everybody in, and
everybody,
whoever else you want to bring in. But if you
bring them
can,
all
whatever
in.
way, but, honor them to bring them in, to bring,
Yeah.
sacred space is really important.
It's really
Yeah.
important. Yeah. So they
Another program that I do is what I do is I do a wisdom's pathway. I call it wisdom's pathway, and once a month I'll do something at. Well, I do actually all my programs at Community Connections.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask you too, if people are interested in some of your programs, or if they'd like you to do Reiki, or if they'd like you to do your shamanic energy, how do they contact you? Should they contact New Earth Community Connections?
For all my programs, and or
Yeah.
they can go into their website.
Okay, or go to the website of New Earth Community Connections. And that's located at 132 Main Street in
That's
Manasquan,
correct.
right? Yeah.
And then if they wanted my sessions, they can look at the website, A New Earth Healing and Gifts.
Oh, or they can
They're
look
two
at
different places, two different owners.
New Earth Healing and Gifts. Okay, they
Yeah.
can contact you that way. Go to the website there and see when your events are coming up, and they could.
Well, at the connections in my events, and then
Okay.
healing is where my sessions are. They can go in and see the sessions, and they'll see my name and how to contact me.
Oh, okay. Let me make it clear because I was a little confused. Right. So if they want sessions, one-on-one sessions,
Yeah,
one-on-one sessions, go to New Earth
healing and gifts,
Healing and Gifts.
right?
If they want an event
That I'm doing, or one of
that
my
you're doing,
programs. My programs are done at the
New Earth
community
Community
connections.
Connections, right?
Yeah,
Okay, they're kind of right across the street from one another in
you're
Madison.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's good. But
And yes, I do that. I do something. Maybe I'll take them on a journey. We'll do a
right.
ceremony, whatever. We do something there, and then I do another program called Life is a Journey, not a Destination. That's a 4 week
Oh,
program where I put a lot of things together for them to learn to like boundaries, values. They work through all kinds of things like that.
right.
So yeah, I like doing. I'm creating more and more programs.
Oh, that's excellent because I think people can truly benefit,
Yeah.
and especially now, people are looking for different things to do to really open themselves up more,
Right,
and
right.
find out more about
Well,
themselves.
I think
So,
we're all going through a transformation,
yeah, oh, yeah, I think this is
big
the
time.
time, right, for people to go into transformation,
Yeah.
and really be aware. Do you have, like, I always ask everybody that I interview, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to explore or expand their abilities, whatever type of, abilities?
Everything for me was through my gut, or they would just come to me.
It will come to you.
Just I would say look into it. Look into things that draw them, and like if they see that they take a Reiki session,
Mhm.
or they go and do shamanic work, well then
Mhm.
go look into one of the schools or take a short program with them
Right,
and see if that does that. If it doesn't, then move on to something else.
something
Yeah.
else, yeah,
And there are people who have very strong, I mean, that psychic abilities,
right,
but
yeah, definitely,
they need to learn how to use them because, as you
exactly,
know, it's not
right,
like, oh well, I had somebody, actually a young woman come to a young woman, and she had read one of Alberto's shamanic books, and she was doing shamanic work, but she didn't know what she was doing.
she didn't know
She
she was
actually didn't. That was not a good thing because they both needed to be cleared up and everything.
right,
And I said, you can't do things from a book. You have to really get some education.
right, yeah, it can maybe get your interest or whatever, and
Yeah,
then maybe
right.
take a
So
class, you know,
if you
yeah.
read something that sparks your interest, go further as to find out what more you need to do to you know
Right. Now
become.
that's excellent advice. Yeah. Um, but we're starting to run a little close to being out of time. So I want to ask you, can you share some words of wisdom? Just words of wisdom, that you feel will be very helpful to people, either especially now or just in general.
Yeah, well, I think I'm living in the world that we're in now
Right.
is it can be difficult, but to really move past it and
Hmm.
to listen to yourself, to
Hmm.
to get down and read some things or to feel some things that are really going to bring you up, like
Yeah.
if it's poetry, if whatever that is,
Yes.
because within you is that light.
Yes.
Find the light within.
I will let you
what
in.
what is your passion? What is
Yeah.
your purpose? You
Mhm.
and that's and purpose is, I don't really like the word purpose, but what is your passion? What makes you happy?
What
If
makes
it makes you happy to watch a bird eat your seeds, then that makes you happy. And stay in the moment. I
you
have the hardest time, but stay in the moment.
animal?
and,
That's good advice as well. That's not always easy for a lot of us,
no,
right?
it's not. It's not, because it's the moment, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Enjoy the
That's
moment,
enjoy the moment. Very good.
because and take it in, to really take that moment in, even if it's for a second, because wow, that bird or that whatever that is for you, the
Yeah.
sun. We haven't had the sun for a couple of days, right? And the
No,
last 2 days it was beautiful. But
it was
go out there and
really
really
beautiful.
appreciate, take it in,
Take it in. And I tried to
and
do
get
that.
out to nature. Get out to nature. Yeah.
And yeah, that lifts our spirits as being in
Yeah.
nature too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent words of advice.
Okay.
So once again, I want to say thank you, Bernadette McLaughlin, right?
Thank
Yeah.
you, Phyllis.
Thank you. If you want to connect with Bernadette, two ways, right? You can either connect with her through New Earth Community Connections, and she gives events there,
Mhm.
or New Earth, and I'm forgetting the last
Healing
one,
and gifts.
Healing and Gifts.
Yeah,
And that's where more of a one-on-one session.
that is, yeah.
They're both located in Manasquan. I think the community center is at 132 Main Street,
Right.
and the other one is right across the street.
Well, it's like down the block, but across the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but across the street, but a little bit
Yeah.
down the block. So get in touch with her and, take an event, have a one-on-one session. Bernadette is truly a wonderful, beautiful,
Thank you.
loving, light soul. I always love to be in her presence. It makes me feel
Yes.
better. Yeah,
I love
so,
to be in your presence because you're fabulous.
oh, thank you.
It's great. Thank you, Tip, for giving me the honor to be here tonight, today.
Well, thank you. It's an honor for me as well. And I want to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in. And everyone, just take care and God bless.